It's the 2020 Hyundai Kona versus nature. We have a full review and a lot more coming up right now on Driving Sports TV. Thanks for watching. Just a couple notes on this episode before we get started. The new Kia Seltos is mechanically very similar to this Kona, even though the Kia is actually larger. When we get to the hill climb later in the video, you can expect to see similar performance for both models, or at least that's what we expect. Of course, we do hope to have a Seltos to test soon. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to see it here first. Now let's take a look at this 2020 Hyundai Kona. All new in 2018, the latest Kona is mostly unchanged. For the most part, it's just nips, tucks, and changing out some options. The model we're testing today is the Ultimate All-Wheel Drive. A basic Kona starts at just under $20,000. Price of the loaded model that you see here, $30,380 including destination. Our car features the best of two engine options. It's a 1.6-liter turbocharged four-cylinder with direct injection, and it's good for up to 175 horsepower and 195 pound-feet of torque. It's connected to a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission, and it powers all four wheels with Hyundai's all-wheel drive system. We'll take a closer look at how that system works later in this video. EPA rates this model at up to 29 miles to the gallon on the highway and 26 in the city. In the back, this little hatch has up to 19.2 cubic feet available with the second row up. Under the floor is a secret nook and some service gear. Fold the second row down for up to 45.8 cubic feet and a floor that is nearly flat. To be fair, small crossovers aren't always the best for adults in the second row. The back seat is a little cramped. Now you might think that I've slid this driver's seat all the way back, but fact is, it's in the position where I would want it when I'm driving. So this is what it would be like to be sitting behind somebody who's 6'1" in this car. The second row here is better probably for smaller children or tiny adults. You do, however, get cup holders. And that's about it. Moving up front upgrades the amenities considerably. The driver gets an 8-way power adjustable leather seat with heat. The gauge cluster is easy to read with a color multifunction display in the middle. In terms of advanced safety, this little car has the full combination platter. That includes pop-up heads-up display, blind spot warnings, collision mitigation with pedestrian detection, lane keep assist, and a rear camera with parking assist and cross-traffic alerts. Infotainment is controlled by Hyundai's standard 8-inch touchscreen system with included navigation. Overall, the design in this is cool. I like the two-tone plastics, although that material could be a little bit better. The seats are covered in leather, they're perforated, and they have 3-stage heat, which is kind of nice. The transmission, it's a traditional PRND, they're not reinventing the wheel here, and it even has multiple drive modes, normal and sport, depending on how aggressive you want it to shift. Also, there is a all-wheel drive lock button. What that does is it locks the coupler in the middle to guarantee that it has power to the front and the back. Now, if you don't lock that, does that mean that you're not going to get power to the rear? Well, no. If the electronics deem it useful, it will always put power to the rear. This just guarantees it from the start. A couple other nice things, because this is the ultimate and the uber expensive version of the Kona. It has wireless charging right down here, as well as multiple USB sockets, auxiliary. I mean, it's got a lot of stuff going on. The one weird misstep is single zone climate control. At this price point, I would kind of expect dual zone at the least. Now, one thing new on this one is that there is now adaptive cruise control on the Kona, which we will test later. And one thing that I do like about the Hyundais, and actually Genesis as well, is they all share the same menu interface. Now, though I would like Genesis to have something fancier, the fact is if you've driven any of these vehicles, you know how this system works. And it's quite good. The graphics are clean, very easy to use. It's got lots of features. With both Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, you can use mobile maps, and you can even use your voice to command the system. Find the nearest Starbucks.
The nearest one I see is Starbucks on 120th Avenue Northeast.
This one also has a sunroof. It's just a normal sunroof, nothing fancy there. And we have HomeLink up on the rearview mirror.
Fit and finish is pretty good, but there are some points that could be improved.
It's a little tinny. It's a little plasticky. This center console kind of feels like Fisher-Price plastic. But if you can look past that, you get a vehicle that is very unique, is really fun to drive, and is honestly quite capable. So the question is how capable is it? It has Hyundai's basic all-wheel drive system. Is that worth anything? First thing we're going to do is try the gravel test to see how well it does when you put the throttle down. Do we get any power to the back?
This particular test isn't the end-all be-all, as these computer-controlled systems sometimes limit all the fun with ABS. But it is worth a try. These clips are slowed down by 50% so you can see what the wheels are doing. First, we'll just do a normal foot-down acceleration. After one full rotation in the rear, power finally kicks in. Now, with all-wheel drive lock engaged, power yet again hits after a single rotation. But you see even more power than before. As you can see by the tracks, there is lots of churning on the gravel, which is a very good result for this basic all-wheel drive test. If you're shopping for the Kona, you need to note that it comes with two different back ends. Base models get a standard beam design, which is cheaper, and it is designed for what Hyundai calls solid handling on paved surfaces. However, all-wheel drive models get the more advanced multi-link independent setup. This improves articulation in off-road conditions while still providing excellent on-road performance. Honestly, even if I wasn't going off-road, I would never pick beam over multi-link. I just wouldn't. The new Kia Seltos also has a similar setup in front and all-wheel drive models, just so you're aware. As far as this all-wheel drive model is concerned, handling is on point. It's nimble and fun to drive, especially with the sporty dual clutch and turbo engine. But it's not perfect.
Sometimes it's turbo lag and transmission just don't really get along, and it's moments like that where I don't like the Kona. Luckily, that's not that common. Most of the time, it seems to be in the right gear and the power is there and ready. It's just that sometimes when you're bopping around town, you might stop and then start and you kind of caught it off guard and it's not in the right space, in which case it can be kind of, miserable.
But how does this combination translate into 0 to 60 performance? Let's find out.
Stop completely, it's in drive. 3, 2, let's put it in sport mode. 3, 2, 1, and go. A little slow from the start. Kicks in once that turbo hits. 40, 50, and 60. Well then. Now there's a new feature in the 2020 model, and that is adaptive cruise control with lane tracing. Let's see how well it does. Now it's really easy. I just basically enable cruise control. I set the distance, hit set. When I get a green steering wheel on the display there and I take my foot off the gas, it then drives for me. Now we're going around a corner and we'll see how well this tracks. It's doing a good job of staying right in the middle. Now the road's easing out and boom. A little drift on the exit, but it gets me right back in the middle again. Overall, that's really a great feature to have, especially in a vehicle of this size. Okay, looks like our trailhead road is clear. Last time we were out here it was covered in ice, but now everything's thawed, such is life in the Pacific Northwest. I love the power. When you get into the range with this thing, it really has some nice kick to it. And of course the suspension's a little on the firm side, great for street, not so great for off-road. Gotta watch these ditches. I don't want to get a spider bite cut on the tires. So let's talk about this all-wheel drive lock button. It's not doing anything remarkable because basically the system will determine when you need power in the back, and it does determine that it needs it a lot, which is good. However, if you're in a position where you know you need that power and you want it 50-50 all the time, maximum to the back, you just hit the switch and you got it. Can you cross it up? Yeah, you can cross it up a little bit. So let's talk about this all-wheel drive lock button. It's not doing anything remarkable, because basically the system will determine when you need power in the back, and it does determine that it needs it a lot, which is good. However, if you're in a position where you know you need that power and you want it 50-50 all the time, maximum to the back, you just hit the switch and you got it. And then, can you cross it up? Yeah, you can cross it up a little bit. That's nice. Now we are on all seasons here, so if we hit ice and snow, we're gonna run into some limitations with the tires, and that's fine. Actually, the suspension here, it's not as bad as the Blazer, definitely not as good as the 4Runner, but you know, totally different class. But the fact is this is fine for trailheads. I have no issue with this. Whoa, that's a tree stump down. Let's see if we can get a little action here without turning traction control off. Getting up into the ice and snow. See how far we can go here. It's starting to get a little icy. The Kona here only has 6.7 inches of ground clearance, which isn't a lot. Typically, I won't take a vehicle up here with that little ground clearance. However, I've been kind of eager to get back up here, and especially with a Hyundai. So let's see how it does. And away we go. So I have the drive mode in normal, and I've locked the all-wheel drive system, which just basically means it's always going to keep a 50-50 split. And we should really see how it transmits power around the system. Now, one thing I am concerned about is no underbody protection and very little ground clearance. And the approach and departure angles also aren't very good. It's telling me steep grade, press brake pedal. Okay, why is it telling me that? That's weird. One thing to keep in mind with this vehicle is that it doesn't have a CVT like so many others in the class. This actually has a 7-speed dual clutch transmission. So will that give it an advantage over the HR-V with its CVT? We'll find out.
As traction is lost, brakes are engaged on the individual slipping wheels to help redistribute power to the opposite one. This is becoming standard across all small crossovers. Some just do it better than others. The little Kona is actually quite capable.
We're doing pretty good. I have to keep kind of a brisker clip simply because, oh boy, should I straddle that? I'm going to straddle that. Hopefully this isn't the wrong choice.
In terms of off-road, the dual clutch transmission is the biggest issue with the Kona. Where a standard automatic can handle low speeds, the Kona's 7-speed dual clutch unit really doesn't like it. We didn't overheat today, but it was certainly starting to smell like it might, as the constant on and off generated slipped clutch fumes. If you've ever poorly driven a stick shift, you know that smell.
So far, so good. Nice! It made it up. Whew! Actually, with very little drama. So, Kona, can you take it off-roading? Yeah, kind of. Keeps telling me to put my foot on the brake because of a steep grade. That's kind of annoying because it doesn't actually do anything. Okay, my foot's on the brake, now what? I've stopped. That's not useful information. Okay, now let's try the hill descent system. We'll go down and see how it does. Now again here, I have to be careful of my speed, which is probably going to mean I'm going to have to disable the hill descent system, but we'll give it a try. So to turn on, I just hit a button here, downhill brake control on, because of course what it's really doing is braking all 4 wheels independently. That's not grabbing anything. Give me a grab here, guys. Okay, what the heck? I have hill descent control on, and it's just charging down the hill. What am I missing here, guys? It's not grabbing anything. Okay, hill descent control, totally useless on a hill where I actually want it. Instead, I'm going to ease down slowly and delicately using my foot on the brake. because I don't want to rip the front of the vehicle off. I just don't. Okay, here we go. Nice. Okay, all things considered, I think this is a win, except for that hill descent control. That's way too fast. That's basically useless. But as for the rest of the system, yeah, this is pretty good. I like it. For Driving Sports TV, I'm Ryan Douthit. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe right here for more great videos. And also check our history. We have a whole bunch of videos taking just various crossovers of all shapes and sizes up this very climb. And it's really interesting to see how well some of them do and how well some of them don't do.